Hello everybody and welcome to Ollie Talks Football. Welcome to the channel first of all. Little introduction, my name is Ollie or Oliver. I'm an Arsenal fan and I'm going to be here talking about football, giving my opinions and thoughts. And yeah, I guess this first upload to the channel is going to be a recurring theme on the channel. This is going to be called the wrap up, where we go through the weekend's results in the Premier League and just talk through them, main talking points, look at a few of the statistics and talk about the players that made an impact for their teams. We'll be going through most teams every week, especially important games, especially towards the end of the season. So thank you, and while you're here, make sure you hit that subscribe button, notification bell on, so you know when a video goes live, and if you could drop a like as well, that'd be great. And I'd like to get your guys' opinions in the comment section below. Who do you guys think is going to win the title this season? Now, the first game I want to talk about is probably the biggest talking point from the weekend. It's Liverpool 2, Arsenal 2. Now, Arsenal looked to have this wrapped up after 30 minutes, but I think more importantly than the whole Xhaka incident is the goal. The goal from Salah basically got Anfield in the mood for more goals, I guess, and they were behind their team for the rest of the game, and Arsenal never really looked like they were ever going to be in control again. As an Arsenal fan, it is really hard to see it not as 2 points dropped, but I think ultimately, when you look at the fact that one team has won there in the Premier League this whole season, and City, Newcastle and United, who are just below Arsenal, all went there and no one picked up a single point. So I think it's kind of unfair, I guess, to say that we didn't gain a point from Anfield, somewhere where we've gone for years and not even been in the game for most of it. And obviously Ramsdale was immense. I think the fact that he's not England's number one, I think is a little bit criminal to him, but I can understand why Pickford's been in there recently. But I think Ramsdale, after that performance, has to be in contention for England's number one spot in the upcoming friendlies. I think the start of next season. I think Arsenal will bounce back. They have quite a lot, so you know, I think the stats, as you can see, did not favour Arsenal at all. They did not look good statistically, but yeah, I think they bounced back so many times before this season. When City beat them before, everyone said it's City's title now. They came back, and look, we're going to have to see next two games. West Ham and Southampton are important for Arsenal. They have to win those going to the City game. And if Arsenal can get a result at the Etihad, I don't think this title race is anywhere near over. If City win all their games for the rest of the season, I think they deserve to win the title, because if they can do that in the run-in, that would be amazing. But I think Liverpool, they needed to win this game for the top four for having a chance in there, and they didn't. They got a point. They probably deserved a bit more, to be honest, and their top four hopes are very, very marginal. They cannot mess up now. And there's reports obviously coming out recently of Bellingham potentially not going to Liverpool, which I think is going to be really interesting to see this summer how the red side of Merseyside reacts and what Jurgen Klopp does if he's still there to rebuild this team, because it's evident there needs to be some work done. But I think the game against Arsenal, against the informed team in the league, the best team in the league for the majority of the season, I think for 60 minutes they absolutely dominated them, and I think a point was very harsh for Liverpool, but I also think Arsenal at the start were amazing, but we'll have to see what happens for both games. Man United 2, Everton 0. Now in the first half, I sat down and watched this game. First half, 21 shots for Man United in the first half. That's the third highest ever in a Premier League first half. And with 64% possession as well, and 3.46 XG with 7 big chances, they absolutely dominated the game. Everton really didn't have many good chances. In fact, they only had one shot on goal the entire game. And I think even with Casemiro out, Man United are starting to learn how to control in the midfield. And I think McTominay had a pretty decent game. Obviously, he got the goal, the first goal. Obviously, this isn't the game for Everton. This wasn't the game they were targeting. They've got other games that are much more important coming up. And Dyche knows how to survive the drop. He's done it before with Burnley, and as much as a lot of people are saying Everton will go down, I think Dyche has just got that thing about him, which I think in the long run, ultimately, will be a reason why I think Everton will stay up. But like I said, Man United, yet again, another win. I think they're guaranteed for top 4 now. It's going to be really massive mess up for them not to get it. And Everton, I think they'll survive, but who knows? Aston Villa 2, Nottingham Forest 0. Unai Emery has come in, and I didn't think he was terrible at Arsenal, but I think for the size of Arsenal, I think he made a couple of not great decisions, and let's be honest, the recruitment was just not it under Emery. But it's not surprising that a team like Villa with some quality players, he's done well. It doesn't surprise me, and Ollie Watkins is on form. He's one of the form players in the league, alongside obviously Haaland and Rashford. He's got insane form recently. Last 11 games, 9 goals, 2 assists. He's averaging a goal involvement a game over the last 11 games. And Villa are making a real European push. I'm surprised to say it after how the season started, but there's a very good chance they get Europa League or even Conference League. I think the title race, the top 4 race, relegation race, everyone's been talking about, but I think this 5th to 7th for other European places is going to be so big. On the side of Forest, Forest had bigger games to focus on, let's be honest. This wasn't the one they were targeting. They could have got something out of it. Obviously, the second goal from Villa came very late on. But Forest really need to get some more out there attacking players. They have some good options. Brennan Johnson, Morgan Gibbs-White have looked good. But they need to score some more goals because that's a real problem for them. 0 big chances and 2 shots on target for the whole game. Against a side which, as good as Villa are, it's not Man City, it's not Newcastle. You know, you should be able to get a couple of good chances, but Villa are looking very good. Forest can survive. They're in a tricky position. There's a chance they can survive by picking points up against Brighton, Southampton and Palace towards the end of the season. I don't see Brighton falling off. They could, but yeah, I think Villa, European spots up for grabs for them. Bournemouth 1, Leicester 0. 2 really just main talking points. Main thing is Bournemouth are looking pretty decent. They're 3 points off of the drop zone at the moment. And other than the Liverpool 9-0 loss, which was horrible, I think a lot of people had very low expectations of Bournemouth going into this season. And I think they've done actually pretty well. I think they've held their own against Arsenal up until the last kick of the game. Spurs, they kind of choked that lead. I don't think they've been too bad, actually. And 2.15 XG from this game shows off their creation is actually quite good. Personally, I thought they were a championship level side that would probably drop back down and come back up within a season or two. But it really looks like they could stay in the league. And Philip Billing is having an amazing season. But I think the main point for a lot of people is Leicester. Dean Smith coming in now to replace Brendan Rodgers. First game will be City away. Do I see them picking up points? As much as I'd love for City to drop points and a new manager bounce, I don't see it. Leicester have some great players, but they are in real trouble because they're 2 points away from safety at this point of the season. It's not where you want to be, so Leicester really need to get their act together if they want to stay in the Premier League. A few results to quickly go through. Fulham 1, West Ham 0. I think West Ham will be safe. I think they've got too much quality in their team. So I think they're going to be fine. Palace 5 over Leeds is 1 goal. I don't even know what to say. Roy Hodgson has come in and against all odds has got a couple of wins for Palace now and 5 goals away from home. Roy Hodgson is the last manager I would have thought could get that out of Palace, but apparently he can, and apparently he has. So I think Palace will be fine. A lot of quality in that team, but Leeds really need to work on their defence and really need to get some results. That sort of game at home, you have to be winning if you want to stay up. And the final game, Brentford 1, Newcastle 2. Newcastle are looking very, very likely to get that 4th Champions League spot. It's not guaranteed, but they're looking very good. And Alexander Isak is looking like a class player, and he's just getting better every week. So I think it's harsh or hard on Brentford, especially for their chances of European football. I think this is going to be a big blow for them. But, you know, I think there's still a good chance for them too. And yeah, I think in general, Newcastle looking good for money right now. Tottenham 2, Brighton 1. There's not really much to say. I think everyone knows what happened in this game. Brighton really got robbed. They did. Whether you think I'm a bit salty being an Arsenal fan, not wanting Tottenham to win, really, you know, PGMOL came out and said it should have been a penalty for Brighton. Brighton dominated the game as well. Tottenham, yet again, didn't look brilliant. Their 2 goals, you know, they were 2 goals. But I also don't think that you can write Tottenham off of top 4 with Harry Kane in the team, because he just bags goals, even when the rest of the team is playing really poor. Obviously, Son's goal was fantastic, but he's not had a great season, so I can't say he's back after 1 really good goal. But Brighton, this really damages their Champions League hopes. Although slim, they had a chance, and I think if they had just got a point or at least 3 points, especially against another team trying to get that, it would have been so big. And so it's really unfortunate they got robbed in this way from poor refereeing, but is what it is. I'm sure Brighton will bounce back and will be in the race right to the end. City 4, Southampton 1. Haaland. That is really it. It's Haaland. He's so hard to stop. As much as people are saying this isn't the best Man City team, I don't think it really matters, because they've got a player which in previous seasons they didn't have 30 goals coming from one player, and you chuck a 30 goal player into a team that's great, and you look, they beat same scoreline against Liverpool without Haaland, so I don't really think it makes much of a difference. This wasn't Southampton's game. I do think they're going to go down. I think they're 2 games off of safety, like 4 points off of safety, so as much as, you know, they've stayed in the Premier League for a long time, and I expect them to come back up if they do drop. They've got a lot of good players. I think Southampton really have to somehow pick up some points in some games. You wouldn't think they would. They've got some tough games. They've still got to go away to Arsenal as well. So, I don't know. I think City are really going to be putting pressure on Arsenal for the rest of the season, and Haaland's a joke. And the final game from this weekend of games is Wolves 1, Chelsea 0. This has probably doomed any chance of Chelsea managing to get a European spot, other than a miraculous Champions League run, which it's Real Madrid against Chelsea tonight away. If Chelsea don't get at least a draw away, I think the tie's done. It's not much to say. Yet again, better XG than the opponent, but poor finishing and only 1 shot on target from 13 shots and having 62% possession. You need to have more shots on target, especially with the amount of attacking quality you have. If they do not go out and buy a number 9 in the summer, as much as the number 9 curse is real, just don't give him the shirt number. Give him 14 or something. They need a striker, because you cannot keep playing Mudryk and Havertz up front. I think João Felix is probably the best striker in terms of being able to score goals, but even he hasn't been able to, so it's going to be tough for the rest of the season for Chelsea. So much talent, but nothing's clicking for them, and Wolves, though, are looking much, much improved under Lopetegui, and I don't see them falling into that relegation scrap at all. I think they'll go on a decent run. Obviously, they're not going to get Europe. It's going to be another season where they stay in the Premier League. But yeah, I think in general, Wolves are looking a lot better, but Chelsea really need to, if they're going to have even the smallest chance of European football, need to sort things out, but I don't think they will. Thank you guys for sticking around to the end of the video. It's much appreciated. If you could drop a like and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, that would be much appreciated, as well as a follow on TikTok and Twitter at Ollie Talks Football. That would be amazing as well. Leave a comment down below what your thoughts are on this weekend of football, as well as your predictions for the rest of the season. I love to hear them, love to have a chat about them with you guys. So once again, Thank you all for watching.